Greetings everyone, I'm Gary Smith and welcome to the Storm Count. Today I'm going to be doing a Vintage Cube draft. I've been having tons of fun doing Vintage Cube over the last couple of days. It's quite frankly, and we're actually going to be doing an 8-man single elimination cube draft. It's the one I've been having the most success with, as just one win wins you your buyback. Obviously if you lose you're out, so you have to win first then you can lose. But I've been having the most success winning the first couple of games against the weaker decks, and then hopefully just earning a few bonus tickets, or bonus play points, sorry. And the EV is slightly higher when you win with one of these. So we're going to be having tons of fun with this. Before we get going though, I just want to wish everyone a quick Happy New Year. Hopefully everyone's been enjoying their holiday period. This video should be going up sometime on New Year's Day. I'm not sure if I'll split it into draft or video game versions yet, although that's probably the best one to do, as many people seem to split it up into draft and game. So yeah, we're going to get going now. Let's see what we get. So we've got a Ginala Zendikar, Sphinx of the Steel Wind, sorry it's still fairly early, Voice of Resurgence, Damnation, Falconrath Gorger, Pack Rat, Tanglewire, Tarmogoyf, Tooth and Nail, Remand, Face Fetters, Incinerate, Orzhov Signet and Rakdos Signet and Repeal. There's nothing too powerful in this pack. Gideon Ally Zendikar really shows up as like one of the earlier, most powerful targets. You've got Sphinx of Steelwind, which is good in, say, a Tinkerish deck. You know, to tinker for this is fairly fun. The Signets are fairly powerful too. Voice, never really seen it do much in Vintage Cube. It normally comes out a little too slow really to stop anything, or any deck that's casting all the instants and sorceries in your turn. Yeah, no, that's not really happening that often either. Part of me just wants to take the Remand. I love playing blue in the Vintage Cube, and since it's the only real blue card here, apart from Repeal, it kind of pushes you towards a control deck. Repeal's a more combo card, though. One thing I've learned, though, is probably not to force Storm. Control is probably a better deck to start going for. So I feel we'll probably wheel something here we want. Daze is good, Jace is good, Ugin's good, Dragon Lord Ojutai is good, Brimaz is good, but Search for Azcanta I think is the most powerful card for our control deck. It comes down early, it sets us up, it's really, really good. So nothing really exciting here. You've got Painful Truths if we want to go into Esper. We've got Godless Shrine, which if we want to go into Esper. Let's have a look at what's open. Animate Dead, which means the person to our right's probably not in Reanimator. Everything in here is a fair card, to be honest. We could take Selfless Spirit if we want to go into Blue-White Control. Painful Truths going to Grixis. Or we could maybe hedge on the fact that Reanimator might be open. And Reanimator is a fairly good archetype to be in. It's incredibly powerful if it plays correctly. So we'll probably just take a hedge bet on the Reanimate, or the Animate Dead, or we could take Mutavault for Manlands. Manlands again are good in control, but again, nothing really here I'm excited to see, but there might be a couple of reanimation targets there. So, this pack, okay, so we've got the Supreme Verdict for control, we've got Concealed Courtyard, so we can splash into like thing, Lightning Bolt, again, nothing here really unfair. Oath of Druids could be open. We could go into like a blue-green Oath of Druids deck, go into a more control-y Oath of Druids deck maybe, which could be fun. But Supreme Verdict I think is really, really powerful. So many times I wanted to raft the board and just lose due to counterspell, so I'm probably just going to take the Supreme Verdict here. Again, Oath of Druids is fairly powerful, but your opponent needs to have creatures on the board, and generally if they have creatures on the board you might just be losing anyway. Enjoy Sanctions, Sheldock Isle. Sheldock Isle's always very good, as you're normally getting down low cards ridiculously quickly. But I'm just going to take Angel Sanctions here. It's been pulling out some good work in the cube, especially since it can just keep coming back and back and back. Unexpectedly Absent answers pretty much everything. Battlespheres gives us a bit more of a top end. Blade Splicer gives us, again, some good stuff, but I feel with Supreme Verdict we probably want to go for the more Unexpectedly Absent route. Okay, so we have Riftwing Cloudscape, again, a very powerful card that's been used against me several times. And Limvala the Preserver. Limvala might be a little bit too slow, though. Lightning Greaves has always been a bit useful as well. It depends what creatures I end up getting. We might just want to take the Riftwing Cloudscape. Its utility is fairly good. The ability to bounce just permanents is pretty good. So here we've got Reflector Mage, Elish Norn, Time Twister, part of the most dubious part of the Power 9. Probably not good for a control deck. We probably don't want to be doing anything. Duplicant is probably the best card here for us, other than maybe Reflector Mage. But I think Duplicant is a permanent answer to something, even if our Duplicant dies. So, more importantly, if they play ridiculously big threats, we get a ridiculously big Duplicant. So, and it's fun to have this kind of card in your deck for against the Show and Tell player. If they get Show and Tell, and normally someone does take Show and Tell, you can Show and Tell in the Duplicant and do well. So now Gideon seems like a really powerful card. Faith Fetters, again, is fairly good. But one of the problems with controlling this format is just having no way to really push pressure. The last thing you want to do is take control of the game and not push any pressure in this format. Again, if this was pack 3, I probably would have taken Faith's Fetters, but we've already got 4 pieces of removal, 2 on creatures, yes, and 2 non-creature spells. But having Planeswalkers that can be sometimes hard to answer is pretty good. And again, we want to have some more non-creature ways of like winning the game, so our Search for Azcanta does more. Still, I'm not worried about Search of Azcanta being dead. Its card filtering effect, at the very least, is always pretty good on its own. Being able to fix your first couple of draws has won me a few games. So, Search for Azcanta has been really good to see in this thing. So, I like the Dragonlord Ojutai. But again, we were saying we want stuff for Search for Azcanta. We've got plenty of threats here to win the game. I'm not really worried about winning games so much. I probably just want to take the Daze. Again, Dragonlord Ojutai is pretty good. It's a flyer, it's a 5/4, it blocks a lot of stuff. It might actually just be the better one. Daze is pretty weak actually in a control deck. Just take Mutavault. We'll take the Concealed Courtyard in case we want to splash black for things like Animate Dead. So, actually, yeah, we're going to take Dragonlord Ojutai. I know I was saying we want less creatures, whatever, but Dragonlord Ojutai is just such a powerful win con in control. The fact it's flyer as well is pretty good, and 4 toughness is nothing to sneeze at on a hexproof. Like, even if you don't actually ever attack with it, it's just a good blocker in this format. This is good again, but it just dies to single target removal. This, though, like, being able to just hold up a 5/4 flying blocker, pretty good a lot of the time. I would love to play this deck. If we just pick up enough blue sources that we never have to run an island, so we never run into Island Walk, would be pretty good. Still, we've got an answer to Shroudy, Island Walky, artifacts, creatures, so that's fine. We'll take the Bone Shredder. Again, we might end up just splashing black into Esper, and a Bone Shredder is a reasonable card, so... And we may end up actually just cutting the Search for Azcanta at some point, but I don't think we will. It's such a powerful card, and the fact it's already made its mark on the Vintage Cube is pretty good. Oh, Blade Splicer. We'll take that. We may not run it in the main board, but we'll still take Blade Splicer. Pretty much every card I've been dubious about or wanting to take over first has cycled, so I think I've made a lot of the good choices. The fact that Gideon Wield is ridiculous. Gideon's so good in his cube. He's not as good as some of the other options, true, but he's still pretty powerful. Okay, so we can take Force Spike, which is actually a fairly good card in control. We could also take Day of Judgment, which is more likely to wheel, I think. I don't know why, but these cards like this have just wheeled a lot. Force Spike, and hopefully maybe get Sequim Coast come around again. I'll take the Force Spike. Having some early counterspell effects is pretty good. Ooh, this one's hard. There's enough threats here, or good cards for our deck here. I think we just need to take the swords. I've had so many games where if I'd not taken the swords, I would have lost so many matches. Swords are just such a good card. Here, Oblivion Ring. We could take the answer. We could take this to like kind of force a splash into black, and then we need to really double take on black win-con stuff. But I think Oblivion Ring's fine. Search for Azcanta definitely means that having cards like Oblivion Ring gives us more rewards. So let's actually kind of separate this into different packages. So we've got kind of like creature-based removal in many ways. As in it's a creature that acts as removal, even if temporarily. Decking Stone is ridiculously a fun card. Again, we're going to have to like cut some of this out. This deck, you know, I've not had any packs where I've been utterly disappointed. I would have liked to have something a little bit more exciting than Decking Stone, but halfway through pack 2, no, sorry, like 5 picks into pack 2 or 4 picks into pack 2. I don't really expect to get anything truly exciting at this point. Still got a few packs we haven't seen a card in yet though, so hopefully we'll get something fun in those. Dragon Lord Ojutai, my favourite dragon, other than maybe Nicobolus. But Nicobolus is more of a flavour, Ojutai is more of a power thing. So, yeah. Holiday Cube is tons of fun. I thought I'd actually just do a bit of recording, get my channel going again for the new year. I have missed recording so much. Missed streaming a lot, actually. It's just not feasible sometimes. Videos taking like 2 hours to upload, 3 hours to upload, 4 hours to upload. Okay, so I want the ultimate price, but I don't think we can take that without actually taking sort of like a Creeping Tar Pit. So we'll take the Creeping Tar Pit. This enables us to pick up more black cards in pack 3. So we're definitely going for Esper, and the fact that we've picked up, say, blue-black and white-black, which I guess are the only ways to really get it, means we've got cards that give us our main colour and our secondary colour. And Creeping Tar Pit probably never gets animated that often, though it is a good actual win condition for control deck as well. A lot of decks don't actually run that much removal in this format. It's really weird how few decks take removal, and then how few decks actually realise they actually don't need removal. So here's Downfall, reasonable card, but I think I'll just take the Jace. Again, Planeswalkers are ridiculously good in this format. So is Nivell's Disc actually. Nivell's Disc is actually fairly good. And we've got nothing really early game that we care about killing. The problem is like having Oblivion Ring and Nivell's Disc together kind of doesn't function very well. Or we just take Mirroring Crusader for the sideboard, maybe? We've got Supreme Verdict. Hopefully the other white will wheel. You know, let's just take the Mirroring Crusader. Anguish I'm making? Oh, Kitchen Things. Again, this removes everything, but we've already got like Oblivion Ring, Decoration Stone, Unexpectedly Absent, Duplicate, whatever. We might just want like a Kitchen Things. And that one will be main board. Yep, Day of Judgment wheels. So yeah, we did need the thing. Yes, it's not quite the same thing. It answers more things than just creatures. But it also doesn't answer Planeswalkers, which are the next big thing. So you either want to answer creatures or Planeswalkers. Artifacts, yeah, okay, there's a lot of artifacts you want to kill. But a lot of the ones you want to kill are creatures. Like, a lot of the mana artifacts aren't too scary on their own. It's what they power out that's scary. So here, we could take a Tidehollow Scholar now that we've gone into Esper. But again, I don't want to really go too heavy Esper. But then again, we've got no black cards on our main board yet anyway. We take a Wall of Omens as well. Does a similar job, except it does block. I'll take the one that can actually kill people. Again, it may not block very well, but we're not trying to block. What we're trying to do is kind of put some pressure on them as well. Trust me, this is a very different control deck to some of the ones I've built earlier in the week, but then again, earlier in the week I got like Mox's pack one, pick one kind of thing. Take Huntmaster. When you got a pack like that where there's nothing really good for you, you kind of think of it in an 8-man pod where you'll only be playing these 8 players. So what do we want to remove? Take a gift. Oh, take your gifts. Cut out the reanimator package. Again, we've really not seen much for reanimator, but then that's probably because it's all been taken by someone. So overall, I'm pretty. At the end of pack 2, I'm fairly happy with our. We've really got 17 playables, main board playables. Like, we got stuff we can put in if we have to. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, so something here will rotate, but we can't avoid not taking Mox Sapphire. Setting up a turn 1 Search for Azcanta or like a turn 3 Gideon. Pretty good. Turns out being able to play one less land. Ooh, moat. Okay, so we've got two flyers. We could take Counterspell actually. Probably pretty good in our deck. The moat definitely does some protection against the green base decks, but a lot of them take something like the Acidic Slime. But at the end of the day, not taking a moat, I don't know if moat's good or not. Really hard to tell how good moat is in this cube. Counterspell just stops everything, and there's a lot of threats if we can get with our Mox Sapphire. Counterspell might be a lot better. It's a lot better with Remand and Force Spike as well. Let's take Counterspell and see if moat rotates. I'm not expecting it will do, but it might just do. Force of Will? Well, there's the Rex Sage. I'm glad we didn't necessarily take moat. I think we're just going to take Force of Will here. 2 Counterspells on the row is kind of not great, but we need more playables, and Force of Will is definitely a playable, and it's pretty valuable playable. So we could take Impulse here, which is fine. An Impulse is fine. We don't really have much in the way of card draw at the moment, so probably an Impulse is pretty good. Hallowed Fountain, though, pretty good as well. What was it, 1, 2? It might rotate. Let's just take the Impulse. We need card advantage. And to that end, we'll have to exile, though. Divination that could go well if we end up picking that. I don't know. I really don't know. Rashad, there is something to be said about Rashad Port as well, but I don't really like playing that kind of control deck. That kind of control deck really wants, like, that's for the taxing deck. That's like for the Thalia deck. We're also not a Delver deck. Again, Moldrifter won't wheel. Maybe Path will wheel. I think we need more card draw effects. We've got plenty of removal, I think, at the moment. As much as Path is good as a 1-mana instant, we picked up the sword, so I'm fairly happy. I've never really played with a Path in any of the cubes I've won. So, and losing to a game due to not drawing any cards is pretty bad. And there's nothing to be sniffed at 5-mana 2/2. Okay. So here we don't really have much in the way of permanents below CMC 3, so Suntine seems a bit bad. Dig Through Time seems fine, though. I think Dig Through Time seems good. I think at this point we've got our card draw package sorted, and we're here at 23 playables? I mean 22 because Mox Sapphire is just going to replace a land in the deck. There's no reason for it not to. It is basically a land. It's just a land that comes down turn earlier, which is pretty damn good. See here we've got Archangel Thun, Gush, Linvala, Geist. Linvala's fun, but more of a sideboard card. Geist is good. Geist is pretty good. Archangel's fine, but yeah, having something turn 3 that puts on pressure. We could also just take the Kitesail Freebooter, which is also fine. It kind of fills this like hand attack package we've got. 2 sweepers though, I don't know. I mean, with 2 sweepers, I don't know much about any of this really. No, what? I thought we. Oh well, we got the sideboard card. I was too slow. Oh well. Do we want Wrath of God here? I mean, we'd probably just play Wrath of God, Supreme Verdict, but Day of Judgment in the sideboard. Oh, we got the Mana Tithe. Again, I like Sphinx's Rev, but it's never really done me anything in any of the cubes. It's just never been able to be cast. Whereas I have a feeling both Force Spike and Manotive will be fun. And again, we're going to have to make some cuts here to the main board, but when you're playing a control deck and you've got plenty of cards that you can make a cut, pretty good. So we can just take the Mishra's Factory here. Again, I like having 2 manlands. 2 good manlands, and then you've got Creeping Tar Pit as well. Well, I don't mind this actually. We've got 2 black sources, so we can splash the Tidehollow Scholar. That one's probably the better one to hit, but might want to run 1 swamp, but I don't really think we do. Like, these are a big cost on our mana base, enough to not run a swamp, and this not being castable is not the end of the world. See what wheels. Again, we could just cut it. Nothing really fun here. Artifact or enchantment card. So it allows us to search for. Oh, it allows us to search for Tidehollow Scholar as well. Let's take that. Westvale Abbey. Neither Work Order Kid has been fine. I think Westvale Abbey we can probably just replace. Take that for the sideboard. We probably just replace Meteor Vault. Looking at this deck, I don't know if this is worth the Black Splash being making our mana fairly weak. I mean, he's just replaced like a Plains and I mean, I think we just cut the black, I think. Because I think Meteor Vault's just better than the Westvale Abbey main board. So we've got 3 land. So we've actually only got 22 playables. Well, we've cut an early creature. And we've got no creature here. One of our creatures are at 5. Let's bring in the Day of Judgment. Or should we bring in Blades? Let's bring in Day of Judgment. I think having 3 sweepers is fun. So, make sure we've got a good mana base, I think. We definitely want the turn 1 blue and maybe a turn 2 blue as well. Not having any blue-white, not taking any of the blue-white lands hurts. But because it means we can't go blue, like, you know, we have to go like Island Mox, whatever, to get Counterspell. So Counterspell might hurt our mana base, but we don't necessarily want to cast it turn 1 or 2 anyway. Not with all our sweepers. So yes, I think that's our deck. It's not the best control deck I've drafted, but we've definitely got some good sideboard options for it. So I'm not too afraid of many of our matchups. We definitely have ways to deal with a lot of the different decks we can face. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I will submit this deck and come back to you when it's time for game 1.